So yesterday was exciting, with the trailer and all that. And in continuation of the spirit of excitement, I decided that in today's video, I'm gonna be ranking the portrayals of all the characters in Avatar the Last Airbender, from the animated show to the 2010 Last Airbender movie and now this Netflix series. But before we get started, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you've not already, and with that, let's get into what we have for today's video. So let's start off with Aang, and I've said this before and I'm glad that I'm seeing a lot of people sharing the same sentiments, that people are appreciating the fact that a lot of the characters look so similar to their animated counterparts. And when you compare Gordon Cormier's version of Aang in this Netflix series, he looks just like the animated version. The tattoos are perfect, they added intricate designs to it so it's not so simple looking like the 2005 version, and the outfit and everything is just so on point. But then when you compare that with what we got in the Last Airbender, like, they were just so off in that movie. So if I have to pick a favorite among the three, of course the Netflix version comes on top, not because the animated one was bad, but because right now in 2023 we now have more technology and all that to perfect what they did back in 2005. It's not looking too simple like the animated version, but it's still true to the original, and that's a nice touch. So I'm gonna go with the Netflix version. Next, let's move on to Gyawentio's Katara, and I'm really impressed with what they did with her costume and hair and makeup and everything. Her outfit is still true to the original, but more detailed. The quality is even high, and all the little touches that they added to it that are new all fit in perfectly with the characterization of Katara. And unfortunately, I can't say the same thing for the Last Airbender back in 2010, because number one, they just ignored the hair loopy stuff. And I know I make a lot of emphasis on this hair loopy stuff because if you think of it, it's essentially part of Katara's identity as a Water Tribe member. And in the 2010 The Last Airbender movie, they just ignored all that. Right from the costume, it looked nothing like the animated versions, and the little details they just had in it back then, you can compare it to what we're having now. And I know you want to say, oh, the budget back then. No, go look at it. This movie had a budget of 150 million back in 2010, and this Netflix series has what, 110 million. Yeah, they are close to each other, but if you consider inflation and all that, that was huge money. So I'm not going to excuse this film because it came out back in 2010. And the same thing applies to this version of Sokka. Like he's just dressed in your regular American adventure film, and no inspiration from, the Southern Water Tribe, which is inspired from the Inuit tribe in the real world. And like, so if I am to rank both siblings, I'm gonna go with the Netflix adaptation this time around still. Although I'm still waiting to see their performance, but from what we've seen with their costume, their hair and makeup, I'm gonna go with the Netflix version for now. Next, let's move on to Prince Zuko and Uncle Iroh, and this one is a really tricky one because I've been very vocal about Zuko's car in the Netflix adaptation, and so far I've not been convinced with what we're seeing because it just doesn't look as intense and serious as the animated version. So there was more details to this car in the animated version, and that's something that I've not seen in both the Netflix adaptation and the one from 2010. The one from 2010 itself does not even look like his car at all. If I am to rank, I'm going to go with the animated version for Zuko's look entirely. And then Uncle Iroh, wow, this is a tricky one because, again, I still have to see his performance in the live action remake. But so far, he looks good in terms of hair and costume and makeup. And it's a far cry from what we had in the last Airbender movie. I mean, when you look at that character, he does not even look anything like an Uncle Iroh. Because we know what Uncle Iroh looks like. They just give us something else and we're like, hey, this is your Uncle Iroh. And like, the last Airbender did not do the character justice. So if I'm gonna pick, for now, I'm gonna go with the animated version because animated Iroh is just a joy to behold, and I don't know. Let me just see the new performance before I make any conclusions. But for now, I'm gonna go with the animated version. And now on to Azula. I'm gonna take back my words. All this while I've been saying Lizzie looks too sweet and innocent to be playing a very diabolical character like Azula. But just the few seconds that she appeared in the trailer, like, she sold it instantly. I take back my words. She's gonna make an excellent Azula. I mean, look at that glare. Like, oh my god, we're not ready, guys. We are not ready. So if I'm to rank all three Azulas, well, the last Airbender, it does not stand a chance because Azula only appeared for like, what, 2-3 seconds. So I'm gonna stick with the animated version for now, waiting to see how Lizzie's performance is in this Netflix remake. Now let's move on to our animal sidekicks. We've seen full renders of Appa and Momo, and they look really good. Like, I have no complaints about live action Appa. He looks so fluffy. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. Momo looks so adorable. But unfortunately, I can't say the same thing for the last Airbender because the Momo and Appa we got, like, I don't want to badmouth that film entirely, but just look at this picture. Like, those legs, and then I don't know what they're trying to achieve with Momo. But at the end of the day, if I'm going to rank all three, I'm still going to go with the animated version because there are a lot of things that you get from an animated character that you will not see in a live action remix. So even though we've not seen much from Appa and Momo, I'm gonna stick with the animated version. Next, let's move on to Fire Lord Ozai. I mean, the animated version. I think we can all agree that we loved how they handled it in the first season with keeping him a secret and then having this big reveal in the final season. But having a well-known actor like Daniel Day-Kim play the role of Fire Lord Ozai, it would have been a wasted opportunity to just keep him in the shadows. So I understand why they went with this direction, and I have no complaints about Netflix version of Fire Lord Ozai. Like, he's just perfect. But unfortunately, I can't say the same thing for The Last Airbender. I mean, The Last Airbender cannot just catch a break in this episode because they did not try at all. Aside the fact that they also reviewed the Fire Lord in the first film, he was so not threatening at all. Like, the man was just talking and walking and his looks were not threatening at all. But when you look at Daniel Day Kim, I mean, the details and the respect for the source material is so strong. I mean, look at those cheekbones. So similar to the animated version. So once again, the 2010 The Last Airbender movie does not stand a chance when you compare it to all three versions. But if I am to rank my favorite, I'm gonna go with the Netflix adaptation because I just love the new look of Fire Lord Ozai. And last but not the least, let's talk about Suki. The Last Airbender movie, they did not even include Suki at all because they were cramming 20 episodes of an entire season into a one-on-one movie. And I have to just say, but in my opinion, Suki looks the best among all the first looks that we've seen so far. I mean, the actress is just serving her face card effortlessly. The makeup is on point, like so detailed, oh my god. And then the headpiece, we can see that they added some fans to it, as a reference to the fans that the Kyoshi Warrior used. But then looking at this headpiece, I don't know, it looks like it's photoshopped into the picture. Am I the only one saying this? What do you guys think? And if I'm gonna rank both characters, this one is really hard because I don't know. Let me just see what they do with Suki from the live action remake because this looks really good. Like, this is gonna be a high contender when you have to compare it to the animated version. So that is all for today's video. I think the Netflix remake takes the lead in this ranking because a lot of the things that they've done with the costume and the hair and everything, I just love it so much. But at the end of the day, we can't conclude yet that this film is gonna be perfect because it all boils down to the tone of the film, the script, the action, the heart, and everything. And from this teaser trailer, we've not seen all that yet. So fingers crossed, hoping that this show is gonna be good. But from what we've seen so far, I think we're on the right path. So share your thoughts down in the comment section below. Maybe share your ranking too. I'd love to see what you guys think. Like, share, and subscribe. Check out more of my videos on Avatar. I recently made a side-by-side comparison of the teaser trailer to the animated version, so check it out. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.